Now we are going through question 2b. Let's go through question. You write question 2b. Okay, or you can just say part B. What does it say? Let's enjoy. Let's go through it and let's enjoy it. All right. What is it saying? We'll try to be as fast as we can. It's now saying we have the limit as x goes to infinity. Okay. Let me zoom in a bit more. So it's going to be rewriting it. We can say it's the limit as x goes towards infinity, and then we have of the square root of x plus 5, then minus the square root of x. This is what we have. So how do we evaluate such a limit? Well, here it's x goes towards infinity. So this is a limit at infinity because x is approaching infinity. It is almost infinity. So this is another limit at infinity, which means we have to divide everything at the top and everything at the bottom by the highest power of x, by just x with the highest power, which you find in the denominator. Then you can say to me, have you lost your senses? There is no denominator. So what do you mean by saying such a reckless statement? No, it's not a reckless statement. You're going to have to create one. You say, what? Yes, you can create one. How? Look here. We can multiply the top and the bottom by the conjugate of this. Remember, conjugate is you bring this exact same thing, but you change the sign in between them. So we can say this is going to be equal to the limit as x approaches infinity of, we still have the thing, it is the square root of x plus 5 minus the root x. But then we are going to say times, we multiply inside the bracket by square root of x plus 5 plus root x, because here it was minus root x, divided by the same thing, which is square root of x plus 5 plus root x. Now, can I ask you a question? Since you may think this is wrong, what is square root of x plus 5 plus root x over square root of x plus 5 plus root x? It's 1, because you'd say this divided by this, it's 1. So we are just multiplying by a 1. We are not changing anything. When you multiply by just this over this, we're multiplying by a 1. So we haven't done anything wrong here. You see? Good. So then what happens when it's like this? Well, we can say this is now going to be equal to the limit as x approaches infinity of, now what do we have here? Well, we start with this thing. It's a whole number. So where is it going to multiply? Only the top. And if it multiplies the top, it's going to be 2 conjugates multiplying, right? Now, what is the shortcut? How do you get for 2 conjugates multiplying? You square the first term, so it's like you're going to say root x plus 5 all squared, then you say minus, then you square the second term, which is this one or this one, but you must put a minus between them, so it'll be root x all squared. You square the second term, and it's just going to be divided by, there is nothing to multiply this, so it just comes in the denominator as it is, root x plus 5 plus root x. So now what are we going to have here? This is just going to be the limit as x goes towards infinity of, this all squared is just going to be x plus 5, because the square root and the square cancel, minus root x all squared is just going to be an x, because the square root and the x cancel. Then you're going to have, it's all over the square root of x plus 5 minus the square root of x. What is now just going to be the limit as x approaches infinity of, what do we have? X plus 5 minus x is like the x and the minus x will cancel. You remain with 5 all over the square root of x plus 5 minus the square root of x. Oh, it's actually a plus. Here it's a plus. Now we just continue with it from here. This is now a walk in the park, ladies and gentlemen, because now we have a fraction, and what we're just going to do to get this limit at infinity, we divide everything at the top and at the bottom by the highest power of x that you are seeing in the denominator. And what is the highest power of x you're seeing in the denominator? It is an x which is inside a square root. The x inside a square root, what is it? It's just an x to the power of half. But if you put it inside the square root, it will be just an x. But when it's outside here, it is x to the half, okay? So we are going to be dividing inside the square root by an x and then outside by x to the half, because it's outside the square root. So an x inside the square root is like an x to the half outside, okay? Because there's a square root. So this is now just going to be, we still say limit as x goes to infinity, but we are now doing the division, so it's 5 all over a root x, which is like x to the half, okay? 5 all over root x, which is like x to the half, if you want. Then it's all divided by If you want, you could have put it as 5 over root x. Then O divided by the square root of x over x. Okay, so since this is in the square root, so you can say x over x plus 5 O over x, which is still in the square root, so it's just an x. Then plus root of x over x. Inside the square root is just an x. So now what does this become here? Well, we can simplify it first. It's going to be the limit as x goes towards infinity of 5 over root x, which is like x to the half, right? O over, no, it's like this, the limit of this fraction. So it's going to be 5 over root x. We can put it at the center, 5 over root x. O divided by the square root of x over x is going to be 1 plus 5 over x. Like that. Then we say plus, what is the square root of x over x? Is like root of 1. So what is it now? Let's get these limits. So this is now just going to be equal to limit as x goes towards infinity of this 5 over root x. So we imagine that infinity goes here. What is the square root of infinity? It's still infinity. 5 over that solution, that infinity is going to be 0 divided by the limit. Now, when we have a square root, you can get inside the square root and get limits. You can. So it's going to be just going to be inside. Limit can go inside. Remember, limit of a square root is the square root of the limit. So a limit will go inside. What's the limit of 1? It's just 1. Limit of a number is the number. Plus the limit of 5 over x. You put x here, which is infinity, a crazy big number. It's going to be 0. 5 over a crazy big number is 0. Plus the limit of root 1. Remember, you go inside and get limit of the root. What's the limit of 1? It's just 1. So it's going to be plus root 1, which is now going to be 0 all over the square root of 1 plus 0, which is 1, plus the square root of 1. What is the square root of 1? It's 0 all over. The square root of 1 is 1, plus the square root of 1 again is 1, which is 0 over 2, which is still going to give us a solution of 0. Then you will be done. This is your solution.